don't know why I said that. Our brains crave nutrients. No, our brains are constantly trying to preserve themselves and not use as many calories as possible, as little calories as possible. And so, because of that, we often discharge what the brain considers useless garbage. This thing is, I said guide here. It was just an idea I had for how to simplify the face even more, of the guides for drawing like a face more by so the idea is that I was drawing this for a while. This is specifically, I covered another one, but essentially it's like one, and then this is two versions of this. The little face kite. And the idea is this just is like a kind of a quick way to structurally build a kind of like a mature anime face. So, you know, eyebrows go here, nose goes here. This is the top of the lip. Sorry, this is the bottom of the tooth. And then to complete this, then you draw this segment twice for the head, and then this segment once for the chin. And that's your mature anime lady, proportioned wise, from the front. This isn't worthy of scrutiny in the sense that you can't really do everything with it. But if you're just trying to draw a very specific thing over and over and over again, you can do this for yourself in any kind of proportions. You can, you know, make it just 2. And then, you know, so the top of the head is here, and then you can say 2 more here to draw a big chin anime girl. But it's less about this and more about the idea of stopping. So well, the idea is I draw the crosshair first, and then I just draw this and this, and I'd stop from doing the center line. And I think that's just because it could allow me to get to a more clear image quicker than drawing the line across and then having that interfere with the image and kind of make it less clear and less visible. So that's what that idea was. I was doing some research about how your brain manages abstract shapes versus the ones it recognizes. And it's very clear when you're drawing and you're drawing a face, your brain is using a completely different part of your head. And I'm still doing research. The question is, like, you know, if you're using a less high, so when you're drawing an abstract shape, instead of using, I think the prefrontal cortex, I can't remember what it was, so I'm not going to give bad advice, bad information, but the part of your brain kind of activates more readily and heavily, which you'd think, okay, well, that means that's good. But I actually think that means you are more preoccupied with more than just drawing. Like, whereas if you're drawing an abstract shape, there's a complete different part of your brain that's being activated, and it's much dimmer. And that could just be that it's underdeveloped. It could just mean that that part of your brain is never used, and then there's a ton of neurons there that are waiting to be occupied by new information. So my theory is that that's the case. I think there's ways of offloading art from just using visual interfaces and using abstract, or even what I feel is basically pathfinding information, like the kind of information you'd store in your brain on how to get from point A to point B, which are actually quite visually quite good at. I think you can hijack those and put art in there. And the idea is that it's actually a lot easier and a lot less high anxiety. I don't know if you guys know about parasympathetic and all that stuff, but when you have when you go into panic mode, and then you do like breathing methods to like get out of lizard brain mode. As you draw, your cortisone goes up, depending on how high stress it is. It might go down if you're doing it the right way, in my opinion. So here I'm actually breaking down. There was a face I was drawing. And I was having a hard time getting the angle. Look how flat this is. This is so brutal. It's kind of crazy. I still make mistakes like this, because it was way closer to being this. Okay, but this is what it really kind of was. Can you guys see that? I know it's yellow. It's kind of hard to see. I'll draw it. I draw on the yellow because I like to be able to have a clear shot at you're drawing it later down the line. Let's just clear this up a bit. It was like here. Okay. So I was actually having quite a hard time drawing this properly. And it's not that it was hard. It's just, I just felt my mind fighting with it, because I was trying to draw really what the shape, the geometric shape was there, but my brain was fuzzy with all this previous drawings and the life's worth of seeing things. And one of the things was, I noticed here, I can actually show you. So I was trying to draw this geometric shape. This was the first one. So what I did is I took this part and I just decided I'm going to make this just like, I'm going to divorce it from a face by just isolating it as like, we're like a pentagon or isohedron or whatever. So this was my first attempt, and it's wrong. It's very clearly wrong. Here I drew a line to really show. This was what ended up being the closest version. But the difference between the bottom and the top was really close, because I think innately my brain was trying to draw the face straight forward. I think we intimately want to straighten out heads. And so when we draw them at an angle, they get distorted. Here you can see it again. The chin is here, and this is here, but in the actual drawing, it was really far apart because of the tilt. So what I had to do to get to this drawing, so this was like 3, 2. I don't remember 3. I wrote this. As I started, blurring my eyes and just seeing it as abstractly as possible. And that helped me get to this shape, which helped inform me of, you know, how inaccurate my art was, and helped me better eyeball what I should be drawing. I also talked about blind tracing, and I actually think learning shapes like this, like common face shapes that you want to draw, or common, you know, hair shapes and ear shapes, as just abstract concepts, you know, even with the hair involved, you know, even if, let's say this is like a person's face, there's like hair coming down. I think learning abstract shapes and being able to really get a feeling of really the angles of things, how they're going, not your perception of the face, or the, really helps give you a more, be more innately in tune with exactly where the angles of the face should be and how lines should be going. Because it gets you to the point where you're actually drawing the right way. It's hard to draw a thing correctly if you're almost always innately drawing it wrong, no matter how hard you try to correct it. So it's important you get to that point. And to get to that point, you really need to at least draw it approximately in the right place one time and know how that feels, so that you can start gradually shifting towards that sensation. Sorry, I say sensation, but it really comes down to that sometimes for me, where it's like I can feel the line being put in the right place as I draw it. I think that's where a lot of people who are actually quite good at drawing don't know how to teach drawing, where they sit, is they just trained the sensation of art success into their being, and they can't teach that. I think that's the issue that Kim Jung-gi had when he was trying to teach, because he was trying to teach something that was so innately, deeply penetrated his brain. And I say that because I've watched a bunch of his videos and he talks about his difficulties teaching things. That's not a take of my own.